Hey, what's up, C-Maniac Nation? C-Man, fresh out the AMC here at Garden State Plaza in my car because it's raining and gross outside after seeing Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was remote today, so I had Mission Impossible 4 all the way through to 7 on the TV while I was working at home all day. Got myself kind of caught up, refreshed, and I got to tell you, man, Final Reckoning hits. I mean, I love these Mission Impossible movies because they understand what they are, and with Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie kind of running things, they, better than anybody, understand what this franchise is and execute on the things you want to see. First and foremost, when it comes to a Mission Impossible movie, now at least, you got to talk about the action. And the action and stunt work stuff for Tom Cruise in this movie is absolutely insane. Like, there are two fairly prolonged action sequences in this movie. One, and both that we've seen teased in the trailers. The one under the water and the one on the airplanes. And both of them just had my jaw on the floor. And both of them at different times, I was just sitting there going like, how did we film this? Because Tom Cruise has just gotten us to a place where you genuinely could believe everything you're seeing on screen with him is real. And obviously, you know that there's some visual effect work in there. There's some stuff and practical things that happen to make things safe for him to do. But like, when you're watching this stuff, you genuinely believe he's doing everything. And like, the plane sequence is absolutely insane. Maybe one of the best action sequences I have seen in the Mission Impossible movie for a little bit. And the underwater stuff is just wild. Like, those two sequences in particular on the second half of the film really propel this thing in its momentum, in the way it brings you to the edge of your seat. Like, the whole underwater sequence, I was almost holding my breath. And then the whole plane sequence, I was just literally like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So many crazy things going on. And how McQuarrie splits the Cruise action with stuff that's going on with the rest of the team is really dope. And that's the other thing that makes all these movies fantastic. I love how much McQuarrie and Cruise love the Mission Impossible team and the relationships that they have cultivated throughout the years, specifically Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg with Luther and Benji. But like, you have this feel where it's like you are so invested in every character that's in the movie because of the way that Ethan feels about every character in the movie and the way the rest of the team feels, right? And what's wild with this one is you have a lot of like new-ish members that are kind of being played in here, right? You got more Haley Atwell, you got Pom Clementif coming over to play on the good guy side. And it's just fun to watch how that team formulates. And while you're going through all the kind of convoluted AI entity stuff in the first half of the movie, that's the stuff that gets you through. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this movie is perfect. Like, I think the entity stuff is a little overly convoluted, and it's been like that since the last movie. And it's weird because it has such a presence in the first half of the movie, and then physically it doesn't really have any presence in the second half of the movie. And that's where it's like, people that are going to pick this movie apart are going to pick this movie apart for things like that. My biggest issue with the movie is I just don't like that Grace has kind of replaced Ilsa. And there are a lot of beats and moments between her and Ethan throughout the whole movie where I'm like, she kind of feels like a fangirl. And if it was Ilsa on the opposite side of Ethan, those emotional beats that should be hitting would land way harder. But outside of that, I got very little to complain about. I mean, the scoring is fantastic. Clearly, the visual effects are amazing. The stunt work is unbelievable. The editing is really, really solid. And I just liked how this story wrapped up the first part. Like, these two movies, Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning, do make one really solid movie. And then when you look at the performances, I mean, Tom Cruise is just out here trying to save cinema one movie at a time, man. Like, the lengths that he will go, you can't capture that any other way than how him and McQuarrie do it. And it is genuinely jaw-dropping every time. And at this point, I mean, the dude just eats, sleeps, and breathes Ethan Hunt. And this feels like a culminative movie for a lot of reasons. And I think it plays perfectly in that realm, specifically for the story that's going on with Ethan. And I love that they nailed that stuff. When you look at the rest of the cast, love Luther. Ving obviously has had much smaller presence in a lot of the movies, you know, in the second half of this franchise, and that's fine. But every time he shows up, you feel things, man, because he feels things. And the same goes for Simon Pegg. I mean, Benji is not an original character, but he is such a strong presence. You almost think he's been here for all the movies, like Luther and Ethan. But what they do with Benji is just always great. I love Peg's performance. I love his commitment. And where they take Benji in this movie, there's some really cool stuff, especially for Benji fans. And then when you talk about the others, Pom Clemente, bro, get her in the John Wick franchise like ASAP. She is so badass, does so little as far as words go, but so much with her actions. And then, Haley Atwell is solid. It's just like, it feels like her character is really meant to be Ilsa, and that's the stuff that doesn't work. But when it comes to the thief stuff and some of the things that they give her late in the movie, like, I dug what she was delivering, even if it doesn't always make sense. Like, she kicks a lot more ass in this movie, and I guess 2 months of training really pumped up Grace. But whether it's callbacks to any of the other movies, people that show up, there's some, surprises and different people who pop up throughout the course of the film, but everybody that shows up is bringing their A game. And then, like I said, when it comes to like the Easter eggs, the callbacks, just the Mission Impossible franchise, there's so many goodies in here for hardcore fans. And at the end of the day, that's the stuff that gets me hyped and gets me out of my seat and into a movie theater. And Mission Impossible continues to be a franchise that should be seen on the biggest screen possible. And if you can see it in IMAX, absolutely do it. I really dug Final Reckoning.
C-Maniac Nation, you look nervous. Is it the scars? Would you like to know where I got them? No? Well, then maybe you'd like to see another video with the C-Man. How about up here or over here? And if you really dig the C-Man, well, then show him a little love right over there.